All right, good evening, everybody. Today we're going to be going over the volume of prisms. Uh, Number 10 was already done in the book for you. Lucky for you. I'm going to do number 11 and 13, all the odd ones. Let's see here. We've got a rectangular base prism. We know it's rectangular because it is 4.2 by 4.5, so it is not a perfect square. We're going to follow the rules, the formula for a volume, and that's the volume equals the base times the width times the height. Well, let's see, the base in this particular shape is going to be 4.2. The width is going to be 4.5. And the length, or the height, is going to be 12.5. Okay, and so basically we've got this right, little parentheses going on over here and here. Could have put a dot, but I want to make sure you guys can distinguish between the decimals and the dots really well. So basically, this is nothing but multiplying three numbers together, guys, whenever you have a rectangular or square base prism. You're just going to go ahead and multiply all these things together and get your answer. So if I did this, I'm going to get my trusty calculator out so I don't make no errors. We've got 4.2 times 4.5, 4.5. Now it's going to give us 18.9. All right. Now we have 18.9 times 12.5. Go back to our calculator and we're going to multiply that to 12.5, and that gives us 236.25. 236.25. And now we have to make sure that we label this correctly. It's in centimeters, so we're going to put centimeters. We have to remember, because this is a three-dimensional object, we have to put it centimeters cubed. It has to be part of our answer. All right, let's move down to number 13 now. And before we go any further, I know a lot of you are used to me putting the code word at the end of the week. That's why you all wait. But today I think I'm going to go ahead and put the code word in right here during our first lesson of the week. And right in front of me, I have, well, my wife has this package here that's called Glad. It's kind of weird. Press and seal. And it's spelled like this. I'll be looking for that on your papers. If it's there, well, Tuesday you guys can expect to get some treats. If it's not there, I know you didn't watch the video. So let's go on to number 13, shall we? If I go to number 13, this time I got a triangular base prism. I know that because if the shape on each side is different than a rectangle, I have to call it by that shape, and this shape is a triangle. Now I got to follow the rules. Again, the volume equals the base, we're going to call it big B this time, times the height. And the reason I say the big B is because we're going to have to use the rules of the base, and our base is a triangle. Well, we know that the triangle's formula is base times height divided by 2. So we're going to have to take the base here, and that's 3.4. And we're going to have to multiply it to 2.5. Then we're going to have to go ahead and divide this answer by 2. Once we get our answer, once we do all this, then we'll be able to multiply, I'm not going to make an X because we're not doing baby math here. We would just go ahead and put a dot. Okay? We're going to have to multiply it to the height, which is 4.8. Now that I've got all the numbers in play, let's get the calculator out and work it. Well, we got 3.4. We're going to multiply that to 2.5. That's going to give us 8.5. Now we're going to divide that by 2. That gives us 4.25. So let's write that in. 4.25. Wow, what happened there? 4.25. And we have to multiply that number times 4.8. All right? Oh, I'm sorry. Is that 4.8 or 48? Let's make double sure. 4.8, very good. I forgot to write that in over here. I want to make sure that I've done my math correctly. 4.8, and that equals 20.4. Let's make sure what the instructions say. Round to the nearest tenth. Well, that would mean this is done, but it also would mean I made a little boo-boo up here, because if I round to the nearest tenth, this 5 is bigger than 5. This is actually going to be 236.3. So I have to apologize to everybody for that. I didn't catch that earlier, but better late than never, right? So now we're going to make this into millimeters. And again, because it's a three-dimensional object, we're going to cube our answer. And we're done. We're going to number 15. It says a base of a rectangular prism has, well, we know if we have a rectangular prism, we're talking about, well, a three-dimensional object here with a base that is a rectangle, has an area of 19.4. Okay, the base of it has a rectangular prism, has a 19.4. That means they're saying that this area, they've already made sure that it was 19.4 square meters, so meters square. Okay, and the prism has a volume of 306.52. So they've already discovered the volume. Okay, this was the area of the base, and they're saying the volume of the whole prism is 306.52 cubic meters, so meters cubed. Okay, write an equation that can be used to find the height of the prism, then find the height. Well, let's see. We know that the formula is volume equals the base times the width times the height. Base and width is what makes up the area. So really what they've told us is this volume is equal to 19.4 times the height. Furthermore, because they gave us the volume, what they've really said is 306.52 equals 19.4 times the height. Well, this looks like a one-step equation to me, a multiplication equation. We got to get this number away from this letter. So what do? Of course, we divide that number away. And that means we're going to divide 19.4. But remember, whatever I divide from one side, I divide from the other. So now we're going to basically have, remember, every fraction is really a division problem. So what we have here is 306.52 divided by 19.4. And look at that, it equals 15.8. So that means the height equals 15.8. And that's it. Moving on to number 17. It says here, find the volume of each prism. Well, again, they've given us a triangular prism, so I will be using the formula volume equals base, big B, times height. Well, once again, the base is going to be 8 3/4. So let's see, volume equals 8 3/4 times 4. We have to divide that by 2, as I recall. So I'll be dividing all this after I'm done multiplying it by 2. And then I'm going to have to go ahead and multiply that answer to 9.5. Wow, that looks like a lot of work. I guess I better get started. All right. Well, first of all, we've got a mixed number that I have to multiply with a whole number. And if I was to do this, then I guess I would have to turn this into an improper fraction first. 4 times 8 is going to be, well, 4 times 8 is 32, and 32 times, or 32 plus 3, excuse me, is 35. So this is really 35 over 4 times 4 over 1. Because remember, every number is really a number over 1. Then I'm going to have to multiply that together and then divide it by 2. And then multiply it to 9.5. All right, well, we know that we can take, when we're multiplying, we can take the numbers that are on each side, because I'm dividing by 4 here, and I'm multiplying by 4 here, right? So basically, I can cross these out and put 1 on each. And now I've got 35 over 1 divided by 2. So this is basically 35 divided by 2, right? And then we're going to multiply that to 9.5. And you know what? I'm just going to turn 9.5 into an improper fraction right now, because I know once I've got my answer here, I'm going to have to go ahead and combine it here as well. So 9 times 2 is 18. 18 plus 1 is 19. So that makes 19 over 2. Let's move on. Well, 35 divided by 2. I'm pretty sure that's going to give me 17.5, but let's go ahead and make sure. 35 divided by 2 equals, yep, 17.5. So now I've got 17.5 times, well, 19 divided by 2. Well, we know 17.5 is really 17.5. So I guess I could write as a fraction, or I could put 19 divided by 2 if I wanted to as a number as well. Let's try that. 19 divided by 2, it doesn't matter which way we do it, which is 9.5. 9.5. So that's 17.5 times 9.5. So 9.5 times 17.5. that gives me 166.25. All right, so 166.25. How would I write that? As a fraction now, since we started as a fraction, probably want to end this as a fraction. Remember, 0.25 is all we need to turn into a fraction. Most of us know that's 1/4 already, but for those that don't, let's put that in, 0.25. Let's see, 0.25, well, actually we don't do it as a calculator. We have to remember that we put 0.25, and then if there's no line, we put a 0 under it, right? Zeros under it to turn it into a fraction, and we'll always put a 1, put a 0 for every number, then put a 1 in front. How many times does 25 go into 100? Well, 4 times, so this equals 1/4. So our real answer is 166 and 1/4. And now we have to remember also that it is in yards, and it is a 3-dimensional object, so it's yards cubed. And I believe that is all the odd ones for the night. I guess that you're on your own for the rest. See you in class.